Hi everyone, today in this little video I will show you how to create a TraveledMap account, and then I will show you how to create your first trip, and finally how to share on your website the trip or the complete map of your trips with either the embedded map tool to share just your map with all the trips, or the trip itinerary tool to share a single trip on a page with the list of steps of the trip. Okay, so first let's create an account. So just enter your email address, like let's say contact@travelmap.com, but this account already exists, so let's say this one. Let's put a password, and finally just enter your name. Okay, so once your account created, you will be redirected to the builder page where you will be able to create your first trip. Okay, so a trip consists in a trip marker and some steps. So the trip marker is the place where the trip will be displayed on your global map. So now let's say that I'm creating a trip for 15 days in Canada. So I will just put the trip marker right here. Okay, so road trip in Canada, and let's say 15 days road trip in Canada. Okay, so you will be able to customize this marker using an icon or a different color or a size. Please just note that the color can be configured in your profile page, and you will be able to select your default color to prevent having to change every time on each marker. Okay, so once the trip marker created, you can add pictures right here. You can either select from your computer or from your phone, or use external URLs like Facebook pictures or YouTube videos, for instance. Okay, then once the marker created, let's create the different steps. You can just note that your steps are not mandatory, which means that you can just have a trip. For instance, if you spent 3 days in Paris, for instance, then you can just put a marker in Paris, add pictures, and that's it. You can save and publish. But here we are on a road trip with a lot of steps, so let's create the first step. You will have to place the steps, so let's say that it was in Montreal. I can search right here and it will select the city, so Montreal. You can also add pictures if you want, but I won't add them right here. So you can validate the steps, then add a new one. So let's say that the second step was in Quebec, so I can go and click right here. So it was Quebec City. I will validate these steps, and finally I will add a last one, which will be, for instance, Percé, that I will have to place. Okay, I can't find it right here, so I will just go and search for it, which is here. Okay, so now we have the 3 steps. I will validate this one. Once the steps are all created and the pictures are added, if you want to add some pictures, then you will be able to add the road between 2 steps, between each step. So you will have to select the transportation mode. For instance, maybe you took the car, and you will have to select which steps which was the departure steps and the arrival one. So here from Montreal to Quebec City. Okay, so that's it for this road. Then I will add a second one by car between Quebec and Percé, and I will validate. Okay, so now that the steps are created, so you can also, on the roads, you can also add some pictures which will be visible while hovering the road between the steps on your map. And that's it. So we have the trip. I will save it and publish, but you can also save as a draft if you want to be the only one to be able to view it if it's not finished, for instance. So you will, to be able to share it, you will have to save and publish. So now that I saved it, I will see it on the map. So this is my travel map. For the moment I just have a single trip, but I can add a new one if I want. So as I said, I can add a 3 days in Paris trip. I can save it and publish. So now I have the 2 trips, and I can edit right here and see more on other options. Okay, so now if I want to share them, I will just go to the page to share the trip, and you are able to share on a website or on social networks or on using a standalone link. So the easiest one is the standalone link, or you will just get your TraveledMap URL, so you will be able to share it with friends or family. And you can also select which trip you want to focus if you want to share a specific trip. Then on social network, it's almost the same. You can just choose to select to share on Facebook or on Twitter. And finally, you will be able to share it on the website. You will either share all the trips to share the whole travel map, or you will be able to share a single trip. So if you want to share the whole map, you can select which option where you want to share it, either on a WordPress with the WordPress plugin with Gutenberg blocks, or on WordPress with shortcodes, or finally on any other tool. So for instance, with WordPress with Gutenberg blocks, you will see the map right here. You can select the trip clustering, which is how grouped are the trips. So they can be they can have a lot of groups, which isn't visible right here because they are very distant, or no groups. Okay. You can select a pitch, which is the pitch of the map. You can select if you want a different color for your trips. If you want to be able to show pictures, by default they will be hidden. And finally, you will be able to get the link that you will have to put in the field in the WordPress plugin. If you select shortcodes, you will have the whole iframe code to share on the website, and it's the same for the other tools. You will just have the iframe with the link inside and the different options to share. Finally, the last option is to share a single trip with details, with the step details, and for that you will be able to select the same options if it's with WordPress with Gutenberg blocks, and then you will have to select which trip you want to share. Please note that the only trip which is visible here is the road trip, because to share with the trip itinerary tool, your trip have to have some steps. So the trip in Paris doesn't appear right here. So you can select this trip, and you can select the different information you need to get for the WordPress plugin, and to fill the different fields to be able to view your trip on your website. Okay, so that's it for this little video. If you want to know more about sharing your trip with the trip itinerary tool, you can check the TraveledMap YouTube channel, where there are some videos to explain how to share and what are the different options. Thank you for listening.